All right, let's talk about something we all struggle with, those huge, high-stakes decisions. You know the ones, in your job, in your life, where the pressure is so intense it's just paralyzing. But what if I told you there's a system, a real framework for making the absolute best call you can, even when you have no idea what's coming next? Well, today, we're gonna break that down. I mean, really think about it. You're standing at this massive crossroads, right? The pressure's on, everything feels foggy, and every single option has this long, complicated list of pros and cons. So what do? Go with your gut, hope for the best? It feels like there's no right answer, but there is a clear, structured way to cut through all that noise. Yeah, let's call it the decision crossroads. We've all been there. It's that classic analysis paralysis, where you just keep spinning your wheels, weighing the same things over and over. But listen, instead of getting totally lost in that fog, we're gonna use a system designed to slice right through it, to get you from that stuck, uncertain feeling to a path forward that's not just clear, but one you can actually stand behind. So what is this magic system? It's called decision analysis, and I want you to think of it like a blueprint. It's a systematic, step-by-step process that basically takes all the guesswork and, well, the drama out of the equation. Look, the goal here isn't to find some mythical, perfect answer. It's about finding the best possible answer based on what actually matters. Okay, so let's start drafting this blueprint. Now, the very first step is maybe the most important, and it's totally counterintuitive. Before you even think about your options, option A, option B, whatever, you have to stop and define what success even looks like. You gotta know exactly where you're going before you start looking at maps. This really breaks down into two parts. First, you list out your objectives. I mean, everything this decision needs to achieve. Are we trying to save money, boost efficiency, make the team happier? Just get it all on paper. Then comes the critical part. You have to assign a weight to each of those things. Because let's be real, not all goals are created equal, right? Is cost way more important than how easy it is to use? This is the moment you force yourself to be crystal clear about your priorities, before your personal biases can sneak in and mess things up. Okay, so once you've got that blueprint, your objectives all nicely weighted, now it's time to look at your alternatives. We're heading into the analysis phase. And all we're doing is systematically scoring each option against the very criteria we already decided matter most. This is the exact point where we pivot from just a gut feeling to a choice that's actually backed by data. And this right here is where the whole blueprint idea really pays off. Take a look. You might glance at option C and think, wow, it scores a 9 out of 10 on our most important objective. That's gotta be it. That's your gut talking. But the process forces you to look at the whole picture. When you factor in the weights of all the objectives, suddenly option A pulls ahead as the clear winner. See? This is how the framework saves you from yourself, from those biases that make us zoom in on one thing while ignoring everything else. So, the math is clear, the analysis points straight to option A. We're done, right? Nope, not even close. Because a brilliant decision that just sits on a piece of paper is completely worthless. The real win isn't just picking the right path, it's actually walking down it and making it happen. And there are 3 big keys to doing that successfully. First, you have to be super clear about the results of the analysis. Everyone needs to get why this was the choice. Second, it has to deliver a real, tangible benefit to the organization. It can't just be a good idea in a vacuum. And third, and this is huge, you've got to get maximum buy-in. You need your team, your stakeholders, everyone to be on board and ready to run with it. You know, this is kind of the hidden genius of this whole framework, because you are so transparent from the very beginning. With the objectives, the weighting, the scoring, you've already laid the groundwork for that buy-in. Sure, someone might have personally preferred option B, but they can't really argue with the logic. They saw the process. It builds that consensus from the ground up, not after the fact. And that brings us all the way to the end goal, the implemented decision. This is it. This is the moment the blueprint becomes a real building. It's when that carefully chosen path actually starts delivering the benefits you identified way back in step 1. Because the true test of a good decision was never the spreadsheet. It was always about the real-world result. So let me just leave you with this one final thought. We get so obsessed with finding the one right answer, but what this whole process teaches us is something way more powerful. The best decision isn't just an idea you pick from a list. It's an action. It's something that gets implemented, gets buy-in, and actually moves the whole team forward together. And that, right there, is a skill worth mastering.